you could easily retire. What keeps you going at this stage of your life right now?
I love what I do, and I love to create, and I love the game, truthfully, of business. And so I feel like I'm just starting, actually, which is wild.
Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Against All Odds. I'm your host, Iris Palmer, and today I'm so excited to introduce this guest. We have Carolyn Aronson, the founder and CEO of It's a 10, a self-made billionaire, a Latina, a mom. She's just such an inspiration to all women. And I'm so excited to have you on. I didn't even need the note cards to introduce you because you are so inspiring. You are so inspiring.
We're friends already.
Yeah, for me as a woman, as a Latina, as a mother, and as somebody in the beauty industry. This conversation, I'm so excited for. So thank you so much for joining me today. And
Thank you for having me.
I like to start every episode with a little icebreaker. I'm really big into astrology, and I hear you're a Capricorn. I love Capricorn, and I'm going to read you some traits. You tell me what resonates with you and what doesn't.
Okay.
Capricorn women, signature traits. You're hardworking. You're disciplined. You're low-key a savage. She's got goals, and she's crushing them. Your red flags are you're a workaholic, emotionally guarded, and takes a while to open up. Your green flags are you're loyal, responsible, and will push you to be your best. Does that resonate with you?
Pegged me 1,000%.
Oh, good.
I mean, everything was spot on. Yeah. Spot on. Totally.
I love that.
Definitely a very, very, very loyal person.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you breach that loyalty, watch out.
Yeah. So
it'll be over.
I feel
and
like,
I won't look back.
Yeah, I feel like Capricorns and Taurus have very similar traits, and I feel like we're so grounded, so hardworking, loyal until you cross that bridge, and then there's no going back.
Yeah, we don't go backwards in life.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, first, your story is just so inspiring. You are a self-made billionaire with a capital B, and such an inspiration for all women. And I want to dive into your story from the very beginning. I know you're Puerto Rican. You were adopted when you were 2, right? With a family that lived in Detroit.
I was born in Jersey. Mm-hmm. We moved to Detroit. So.
Oh, okay. You were born in Jersey. So what is like your early childhood memory that you have, like growing up in Detroit as a Latina? Just like take me to like your early days of your memory.
It's interesting because I didn't even know I was Puerto Rican until I was 26 years old.
Wow.
So I knew I was Hispanic, but I didn't know I was Puerto Rican. And excuse me. So I think that my early memories were, I was very scared. And I was curious. I think I maybe didn't quite fit in. Mm-hmm. But really my early memories were, I felt, pretty, I felt secure though, I was scared, but really the parents that adopted me were very supportive and very committed. So, and I grew up with 3 older brothers. So, there was a lot of playing and a lot of fun, and kind of ended up, if I can't beat them, I've got to join them. So I did.
Your adoptive parents were so loving, and you talk about how like you grew up in a stable, loving home. Do you think that shaped you as an adult and as a businesswoman?
Absolutely. What they showed me was consistency. And consistency through structure, consistency with love. So I think that really gives a very solid foundation to any child. And they always made sure that we knew we were chosen. I was adopted with a biological brother. So the first two boys were their biological sons. And then they adopted me and my brother. So it was like,
oh my God, I love
they never
that.
had to sit down and tell us, that we were adopted. The picture was obvious. The family picture was blonde hair, blue eyed, and then us.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was, they always just let us know we were chosen and that we were special. And they really did things that tried to, I think, make us feel included. We joined soccer. I played soccer since I was 5 years old. Back when soccer wasn't really, popular.
Soccer is such a good sport for kids, such a fun sport to watch as a parent as well.
Yeah. And you know what, that team and that camaraderie is really, really important to anything.
Yeah.
So, I just think that, that was really good that they made extra effort to get us around Spanish people too. They would, like, our family doctor, they chose Perez, and they just, because there were no very, very few Hispanic people. And so the majority of them were, it was Midwest America.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know your dad taught you financial literacy on like a very early age, which I think is so important for kids. And I'm trying to do that with my own kids now. What exactly did he teach you? Because I know you credit a lot of your business mindset to that, to having that financial literacy.
Yes.
What exactly do you feel like really stuck with what he taught you?
I think, first of all, it was very young. That he took us all to the bank one day, all 4 kids, and we opened up saving accounts and we started to put money in them regularly. Back then we had to hand ledger, all the ins and outs. And hopefully there were more ins and outs when you're young, but, just really, he would sit me down in front of the computer and teach me, especially as a hairdresser. I was a self-employed hairdresser. So being 1099 my entire career, you better learn to manage your own finances and file your own taxes. I did my own taxes. He taught me how to do that. I paid my own quarterlies, I bought my own insurance, set up my own 401ks and my Roth IRAs. And I had a Quicken program that he taught me to use. And, as I got older, but even younger, I was always hungry. I was always finding a way to make money, garage sales or working for the neighbors or whatever it was. I was always interested in earning a buck. It was in my blood. That entrepreneurial vibe. Yeah, I was born that way. I was definitely born that way. Yeah, and when I found my birth family, my father was a complete entrepreneur and hustler. So totally makes sense. Like, he's 92 years old and he's still, full of energy and a hustler.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I heard you knew that you wanted to be a hairdresser from the age of 8. And it's very rare for a kid to know what they want to do, but actually follow through and achieve it and become that. And surpass, everything that you've achieved in your life through that journey. Do you remember being 8 and wanting to be a hairdresser?
I so do. I remember being 8. I remember being 6 and redoing my room and thinking of interior design and fashion and beauty and making collages out of Cosmo magazines and cutting things up. And I was always into creating and I was absolutely in awe by it. So the beauty industry seemed like a really natural fit for me when I was young and declared I wanted to be a hairdresser, but I also faltered. In high school, I was going to be a nurse. And so I worked in a nursing home for 2 years. I took nursing classes. My mother had been a nurse, so had a lot of science background. In the end, I ended up going back to hair. But it's interesting that within my industry, there's a tremendous amount of hairdressers that become nurses and nurses that become hairdressers. It's very interchangeable industry because we are people who love to make people feel better. And I just do it by hair now. I used to do it medically, but we like people to feel good. So that's what we do.
And then you were a hairdresser for 20 years and then you owned your salon. And then you started experimenting with the products.
During that time. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you created your first.
I mean, 20 years of touching and feeling of using hair on thousands of heads and thousands of products, you kind of just get that 10,000 hour rule, right? And you start behind the chair, you start wondering, okay, why isn't this doing this? Or why is it saying it does that, but it's really not doing it? Like, why can't it describe perfectly what it does? Mm-hmm. You know, those kinds of things. So the frustration behind the chair led me to want to create better products is what it did. So yeah, I mean, that's, you know, it was, I would cherry pick product lines because there was never a product line where like all the products were amazing. Mm-hmm. And I always wondered why can't everyone why, if they're going to make a line, why don't they make them all with 10, right? I mean, so yeah, it was my frustration that really led me to eventually, you know, wander into this. And I wandered into hair product manufacturing. But it was an easy fit. It was a natural fit, you know.
So I know your first company, you experimented a lot with products, and it's so funny because I always say like the best type of experience is like hands-on and being thrown into it, you know? And your first company didn't actually succeed, right? What do you feel?
Yeah, completely failed.
What do you feel?
Lost $500,000 failed.
Why do you think it failed?
It's a big one.
Why do you think your first business failed?
You know, it was a mixture of things, I think. But honestly, we launched 9 products right out of the gate. We had and we did everything a la carte. So a lot of it, we did ourselves. We were trying to pull all the vendors, and we'd never done manufacturing before. So not only did we do it, we did it big, we did it intricate, and we did it a la carte, so to speak, where we were pulling together many vendors to create an end result. And there were hiccups. There were QC issues. You know, there are just a lot of things that kind of went wrong simultaneously. Mm-hmm. And we had the distribution because my partner at the time had been in sales for years within the beauty industry. But it just, you know, the products weren't there. And we had mainly a lot of it was packaging issues. Mm. So it really, you know, it really hurt. It really hurt the launch, and it hurt the actual, you know, the continuance of the products being, you know, desirable, because it's frustrating when the sprayer doesn't work or the label's bubbling, you know, or the product's shooting out of the bottle. I mean, there's just, you know, it's not good. So we learned hard and fast.
You learned hard, fast, but also that didn't discourage you, because then you launched It's a 10. And I feel with
only $80,000, we were broke and divorced, by the way, because it was my ex-husband who we started the first line with. So yeah, we were divorced and broke, and took $80,000 and bought one closeout bottle and thought, we're going to make something that's really multifunctional and easy to understand and easy to use. And we only got one bottle, so we better make something amazing, right? So we created the leave-in.
I feel like it's a one hero product, right? Like it was such a strong product that really like made your company what it was. By the way, I'm a big fan of the product. I use it on my kids' hair. Like it smells amazing. It works amazing. It's a great product.
Thank you. But that's Guanabana, the fruit. That's what the fragrance is in it.
Mm-hmm. So good. So good. How did you get it into all these salons?
So that's an interesting story. We had a relationship with a distributor that was one of the largest ones in the country, and they had just lost L'Oreal, which was a huge loss for them because L'Oreal decided to open up their own distribution, which then became salon-centric. So they pulled all of that business away from this massive distributor, and they really were looking for some new, you know, lines. And we only had the one product. Mm-hmm. But they're like, let's give it a shot. Let's see, you know, how it does. And that was only in California. By the way, I lived in Calabasas at the time. So they only took it on in California. And so we launched there first. And we massively sampled hairdressers for free because we had no money for marketing budgets or, there wasn't a social media. I was like, get it into people's hands. And what's better than a hairdresser recommending it to clients? So that's how we did it. We gave literally thousands and thousands of samples away for free. And they loved it. They just loved it. And they recommended it. It ended up, they opened up distribution nationwide. And from there, it just took off like wildfire. And I just started creating and building on it. And now It's a 10 has over 80 different SKUs. So, multiple companies.
What was that feeling for you after like coming from a not successful first company to now an overnight, like not overnight, but like such an amazing product that now your company is booming. You're selling so many units. You're seeing it in all these salons. What is that feeling? What were you feeling? Because I know it's a little discouraging when I've launched a lot of things that haven't succeeded, but like the one thing that the one thing that does succeed, like that, like feeling, just tell me about like what you were feeling.
You know what? I didn't concentrate on it. I concentrated on what next, how to manage it, how to manage the growth. Didn't let it get to my head. I think it's really, really important that you realize that when you have a winner, you have to really, really solidify that. And anytime something, what I call it is a golden formula within the industry. And it is one today. We are now 20 years old and it's still the best selling leave-in in the country, if not the world, because we're also worldwide now. So, you know what? I was so, I think just diligent on making sure I didn't fail again. I wanted to make sure the next product was as good. And then the next product was as good. So I was really, really excited that we got that initial foot in the door. But I also know that can be fleeting and you better follow it up. You can't just have a one-hit wonder. It was exciting, but I definitely, I stood back and really just kind of assessed what was going to be important in the next steps because, anything can happen. Never say never.
Yep, exactly. I know you often say that the beauty industry is a male-dominated space, and you have succeeded in the beauty industry as a woman. So what do you feel like was one of your biggest challenges in this industry?
Being heard, I think. Being taken seriously. I always say that I started It's a 10 in my early 40s. So I wasn't even really successful until my early 40s. And I always say in my 40s, I became, more justified. Like people started like, oh, this is good stuff, right? She can make some product. It's a 10. And by the way, back then, no one even knew I owned the company. I was like Oz behind the curtain. But then in my 50s, I went from being justified to being recognized. And it took me that many years, and really proving myself, becoming sole owner of the company in 2017, buying my partner out. And when that happened, really revamping the entire company, and being the face of the company, coming out from behind the curtain and really showing the world that, that I can do it. I do it. I did do it. And just, that's it. I mean, just, so many people, and especially women, they'll say to me, what is it like? Like when you're in a boardroom or you're in a room full of men having meetings, which is, when you're dealing with very, very large companies, majority of, in the beauty industry, the majority of upper C-level positions are held by the men. So what is it like when you're in these rooms? Like, are you afraid? Do you, how do you get over that? How do you get over being one of the only women in a room? And I think the way I got over it is I didn't concentrate on it, first of all. And also I think I just showed them what I know. And trust me, I knew a lot more about beauty than they did. So, and through the years, I love to learn. So I really became very diligent about business and really fully understanding it, surrounding myself with brilliant people, but really being, my husband jokes, he says, you're like the world's largest sponge. So I love to learn. So it's important
that. And I also,
to soak it all up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You always have to be open to, accepting and learning and not kind of like a know-it-all. I always tell like young people, like, you don't know it all. Like it's just be open to learning as much as you can. I also feel like something that's so inspiring about you is that in the world that we live in and society, and like, especially as a woman, we have timelines, or society puts a timeline on expectations of when we have to be married, when we have to have kids, when we have to be successful, all of these things that I feel like you have made your own rules, and you're like,
I broke all the molds.
Oh yeah, and I think that's so inspiring.
I broke all the molds.
I think that's not like, you make me look forward to my 40s, to my 50s. Like, oh my God, like my life is gonna start when I turn 40.
60.
You know what I mean? 60. You know what I mean?
Year.
Yeah. And even
I'll be 60 in December. So.
And you look amazing.
And I'm just beginning.
No, you look insane.
Well, in today's world, we go backwards, especially Latinas.
Yeah.
We age backwards.
Yeah. And also, like, but, you had your your first baby at 40, right?
41. My first child.
And your second baby at 54?
My 54. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you carried both?
I was very blessed.
Yeah.
I carried both. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I did enjoy that. I really did. I mean, pregnancy is like such a gift, and to be able to go through it is really a blessing. So,
yeah. So you make me look forward to all that. And also, I know I've heard you say before, like, you're not, you'll never give your kids everything, because having to do it on your own is the best thing that's ever happened to you.
It's so important. As a matter of fact, I was just saying, my 19-year-old's shadowing me today. She's in business school at the University of Miami, and it's important. Like, she's gonna shadow me throughout the summer a bit, intern, be a fly on the wall, understand one of my days, what it's like. I think it's so important to really. For your kids to understand, how you got what you got, how you got to where you are, and then for them to experience it themselves. I don't ever expect any of my kids to ever be where I'm at or want to do what I want to do, but she is in business school, and I do have a business, so it's great for her to just have some experience. And I always say to her, do what you love and make a difference in the world. And that's all I ask.
I love that.
And I don't care if she wants to open a dog rescue center, do whatever you want, but just make sure you actually, it's called tikkun olam in Judaism, because I'm Jewish, and it's to make, to change the world, to make a difference. And that's all I want my kids to do, is to be able to give back and make a difference.
I love that. And I know your brand is celebrating your 20-year anniversary. What is your secret to creating such a long-lasting brand?
Dedication, and being able to really pivot, go where they don't go, and not be afraid to. And I think also would be to be excited with change. I love change. I love technology. I love, I'm a computer nerd. I love computers. I love AI. Anything new that comes out, I'm like, oh my God, let's try that.
AI is crazy, don't you feel like? People are building companies, everything off of AI.
Oh, it's insane. And I'm going to be a part of it. I know that a lot of people are afraid of it, but I'm already I use it for research, and eventually there's going to be some ups and downs with it along the way, but I think it's going to change the world.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be in a good way.
Yeah.
But I also love, there's technology within my industry, and I love to embrace it. I always say that the hair product industry, the professional sector of it, is very similar to the fashion industry. But you have the couture creators, and then you have all the people that knock them off, and the professional hair care industry is the couture of hair. And so we create the innovation, especially a lot of them were started by hairdressers. So us standing behind the chair and really being able to understand what needs to be created, and then pushing our chemists to create it with us, though. A lot of chemists have never even done a head of hair in their lives, you know. So it's a collaboration. And I think anyone who's creative, you know, I do it when I create real estate. I'm into real estate, commercial as well as residential. And when I work with the contractors and the builders, and I push them to levels that they didn't even really know sometimes that they could create. So that's what it's all about, you know, really kind of being open-minded to go where they don't go.
I saw a TikTok about one of your houses in Florida, and I was like, "Oh, you have the best taste." My kind of girl.
You.
I literally
wait till you see the Miami one.
No, I saw that, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And then I saw you. I think you have 2 yachts, right, or 1, 2 boats.
Yes. Well, I had. And
you named them after your company.
I had one, well, they're called She's a 10.
I love that.
They are.
Yeah, She's a 10.
She's a 10. Yeah. So the first one I had for about 7-8 years. And listen, one of the only female self-made yacht owners in that industry.
No,
you know?
No, I love.
And I did
it.
I was single. I was 2013. I went out and bought my first boat, and it was a 50 meter. That's 165 feet long, and it needed some work. Had to fix her out, but I had that boat for almost 8 years. And then I built a brand new one, a Mangusta, which is an Italian boat. And I'm the kind of girl that looks under the hood. I grew up with 3 brothers, so I know what the engines are all about. I love speed, so I get fast ones. You know, my current one is 178 feet long and goes 32 knots, which is fast. So, and I totally interior designed the whole thing. I made them change it all around. And Mangusta said they consider it their queen ship because I made them think outside of the box, you know, and it's very unique. So that's what I love to do. Whatever it is I get involved in, that's what I love to do, is really raise the bar. Anytime you can raise the bar in anything you do, including real estate. So the home I'm building in Miami right now is probably going to be one of the most famous homes in all of Miami. And it's taken me 7 years to build it by the time I'm done.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
So you can imagine what it's going to be like
when that's done, because I already envision
that's going to be insane.
Yeah.
I'm going to invite you guys I'm going to invite the girls over to the opening.
Please invite me over.
Opening.
I'm happily to get on a plane and go to Miami anytime.
Absolutely.
What do you feel like is the biggest misconception about being a billionaire?
That it could mean you wouldn't fail and lose it. Because I've seen very, very, very wealthy people rise and fall. So I just don't ever take anything for granted. And, you know, you have to have a very, very solid foundation to remain on that level. So I think that it's important that you set yourself up for that. You know, just like any company you build. Some of the biggest companies in the world, especially since COVID, we've seen them absolutely crumble. You know, who would ever think half of these companies are gone now? So never take it for granted.
Yeah, I think longevity is probably the hardest thing to sustain in business and success.
Yes. Yeah. But that's the game.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. You know, I love the game. I'm addicted to the game. That's why I'm in so many different industries and companies now. I have about 15 different companies.
I know. Speaking of a new one, I feel like you're tapping more into the men's hair care industry.
Yeah.
And men nowadays too are tapping more into the beauty industry and caring more about what they're putting on their hairline receding. Like my fiance, he's, babe, what product should I use for this? Like what you know what I mean? Like they're tapping into,
I love it.
Yeah, they're tapping more into the beauty industry, and you're partnering with big names like Fat Joe, and I think your husband is a partner in that brand with you, right?
He is. Yeah. And a couple of the other companies we've partnered that we've created. So we recently launched also some other companies, but yeah. So I'm really good friends with Joe's wife, Lorena. That's my girl. And so, yeah, over the years of, you know, my husband became very close with Joe as well. So we vacation together and everything. And so he kept saying to me, we need to make a men's hair dye line. I don't like what I use. It's a different color every time I use it. And he was on me for quite a few years. And finally I'm like, all right, Joe, come on, let's go. And so we created it together with my husband, who's a marketing genius, and decided to get, kind of get the grandpas off the box and get the hot young guys on there and really make it acceptable for young men to dye their hair.
Yeah.
As it should be. It should be, right? Like Joe's like, yeah, I used to have to duck and dive in CVS, like at 2 a.m., figuring out my hair color. But now it's, Travis Kelce's out there going, yeah, I know my hair, It's good. It's good for men to feel like it's an okay thing to groom themselves. Like, of course you should.
Yeah. I think we're going into more of a world where like we're more open with all the beauty treatments, with everything we're doing, with men doing stuff, like it's
and we're more
okay.
educated.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're more educated. Look at, he's asking you like, what's good? Like, what should I use?
Yeah.
It's good he cares. I mean, they're educating themselves as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like the beauty industry for me, it's like self-care. Like, it's like when I feel good, when I look good, it's like I feel my best and I do my best work, And I think being in the beauty industry, as we both are, it's important. It's like, it's on my like top 3 things that like matter the most, looking our best.
Oh, it's my first thing.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't have, if I don't have all my surfaces complete on a regular basis, you might not want to be around me because I'll be a little grumpy.
You could easily retire. What keeps you going at this stage of your life right now?
I love what I do, and I love to create, and I love the game, truthfully, of business. And so I feel like I'm just starting, actually, which is wild because, the more you build, the more you can achieve, and the more it just kind of, this whole snowball effect happens.
And it's like addicting, right?
And it's so addicting. And actually, I wrote about it. Actually, I have a book coming out. Pre-sales are already in. It's called Lift, Hold, Shine.
I'm ordering it.
And it is my, thank you. It's not only obviously, how I got to where I am, how do you become a billionaire one strand at a time, so to speak? But also, it really talks about, the journey and enjoying the journey. So I love the journey. What can I say? I love the journey. I love what I do. Love to create. I love my family. I love just spending time with my friends and family and building things. So it's great life.
I love that. I'm going to pick up your book like today. I'm pre-order it.
Thank you.
Yeah. But before we leave, I like to end every episode. You've dropped so many gems already, but I like to end the episode with dropping a gem. So if you'd like to drop a gem for any Latinas out there who dream about becoming a successful entrepreneur, or just any words of wisdom that you want to drop.
Well, first of all, there are programs out there for Latinas. Actually, I'm involved sitting on the advisory board of one called Latinas in Power, where you can actually open your mind to embracing maybe C-level positions, high-level marketing, management positions, CEO positions, because we're more than capable. Our culture sometimes doesn't teach us to take that mindset. So sometimes we have to retrain our mindsets. But I would say ultimately, like for any woman, you can put your mind to whatever you want to achieve in life. And I'm living proof, not only a woman, not only a Latina, but a foster child. And so doesn't matter where you start. Doesn't matter where you've been. Every day's a new day. And my biggest advice probably would be simple rules. Like in life, you don't want to try to force a round peg into a square hole. It's just, you have to follow your gut. Latinas, we have good guts.
We have good intuition.
we have good intuition. We really, really, really do. And you need to follow that. And not everything works out perfectly the first time, but just consider it a lesson and move on from there. So.
Thank you so much. I feel like you inspire me so much.
Pleasure.
This conversation was amazing. And thank you so much for having this conversation with me. And I hope everybody enjoyed this conversation. And thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Against All Odds. Bye.
My pleasure. And I'll see you in Miami.
Yes,
Bye.
I'm coming. Against All Odds is a Hyphenate Media Group production in partnership with iHeart's My Cultura podcast network. For more of your favorite shows, visit the iHeart Radio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.